Welcome to this update for the Seven Crosses series for Workers and Resources Soviet Republic. Now we're picking up on the 9th of June 2021, which is nearly a year on since the end of the last video. And what I want to do is give you a bit of an update of what I've been doing, show you some of the buildings I've completed. Also, I've got a couple of projects which I want to share with you guys with respect to one, maintaining a very large economy, because you can see we've now passed 82,000. Also, for anyone who's been following the series for a long time, I thought I'd give you also an update of where my thought process is going for building the in expanding the economy. First, I'll just give you an update of Nuclear City. What I've been doing is I put in a couple more apartment blocks because I've realized that I need more workers out here in order to get this my nuclear fuel system running. You can see at the moment we're still not really getting enough workers out here, but on the positive side we are producing quite a lot of fuel, which means that our nuclear power station should keep going. The other thing I've also done around here, as you can see, I think this is the Ukrainian concert hall here, which we planned in the last part. It's a pretty cool building actually, quite like that front to it. Also, we've got the we'll see over here, the Palace of the Sports Dynamo. Again, it's a very nice looking building actually. I just quite like that front there. And then if we go over to, I think the other place we were working on is we finished the monument here. Now this is the Independence monument. But as far as I can tell, it doesn't actually give you any benefits to loyalty. It just looks a pretty cool building, actually. Now, if we go back to Nuclear City, I think there was also a little building that we put in here. I think it's just in here. This one does actually give a benefit. This is... I can't remember what it is. I'm pretty sure this is the one, but it does give a bit more influence to loyalty. So that's the buildings we placed. Now for anyone's following the series, it took a little while to get this area sorted out, but this area is now running. So we've now got a consistent supply of coal and gravel. I did have a little bit of a problem getting this rail distribution office to work through here, and I had to do a little bit of readjustment, but it seems to be working now. So what this distribution office is doing is, I think it's bringing in the coal and the gravel to this area, and it's also shipping out the crops from our new farm over here and sending it down to the chemical industry. And you can see here we now got this farm virtually fully functioning now. I don't think it's not assigned. Okay, why is it not assigned? Oh, I think because we should be able to find it. About this one. Okay, so we got a couple of fields that for some reason the game missed. So we've now got this farm up and running and really working. And I actually got a comment from someone who was talking about one of the problems of building a self-sufficient society now is the sheer amount of crops that you've got to have to keep it going. You can see how many farms I've got in here, and it's working well on this map because this map is very flat. But if you had very hilly terrain, being able to get enough farms to provide the crops for all the different things you want, especially as you need to produce chemicals, I quite agree with the comment that that's one of the biggest struggles. And one of the suggestions is fertilizer. And I really seriously think that if the devs added the option to produce some kind of fertilizer from the sewage treatment plants, that would actually give us a reason to use them. Because at the moment, with the current mechanics, and I'm not knocking the current update, is the fact that because you can dump into the water and there doesn't seem to be that much consequence on the pollution as long as it's nowhere near anywhere that really counts, there doesn't seem to be really any reason to put in a sewage treatment plant. In fact, it's negative because you've still got to use chemicals, and then that feeds back into the crops. So I think if there's some way that the sewage treatment plants produced fertilizer, which could then be added to the farms, so that what you get is a boost. What you've got is a reinforcement cycle. Then it gives players a reason to build the sewage farms so that they can get the crops, so they can get the fertilizer, which they can then send to a farm, which will then improve the crops, which will then produce the increase the production of chemicals, or the crops for chemicals. The only thing I have been thinking a little bit about is how you'd actually supply the fertilizer, because what you'd have to do is deliver the fertilizer to either the farm and then have some way of putting the fertilizer on the fields, or alternatively actually delivering the fertilizer to the field. If I can find the what we call it, here it is here. So if you go here, there is a mechanic in the game which allows you to send fertilizer to field. So my observation is that rather than putting the fertilizer in the farm, would be for anyone who wants to put fertilizer on a field, would be to put a very simple mechanic in with a distribution office and maybe a silo for storing fertilizer. So what you could do is add it to a farm here, have a fertilizer store, and then have a distribution office that goes round and supplies the fertilizer to the farm. And then what you'd have here is like a store that says the amount of fertilizer that you've got in that field. And I think probably that would be the simplest mechanic to actually implement it. And I know the devs are a bit overloaded at the moment because they're working on the next update, but I think the update after that, they intend to introduce waste disposal. And I think that would be quite a good opportunity to introduce fertilizer to the game, simply because a game with the waste disposal, what we're going to do with it. I mean, obviously we'll probably put in an incinerator to burn it, but I also think there's an opportunity to have a waste plant that produces fertilizer as well. So I think that mechanic would fit very well with the game. Anyway, guys, I've gone way off on tangent of what I was actually doing. Now over here, I found that the pace of building roads and the buildings out here was very slow. So what I've actually done is, if I come follow the road down, I've built two more huge construction offices here, and the vehicles in here have come from the construction offices that were next to Ollerton. So what I've done is I brought them up there, and in order to avoid some of the micromanagement, what I've done is I've just literally set these on 3000, says go and pick up lots and lots of bits and pieces. And actually I think, no, we got 4 rollers, we got 4 pavers, and we got some bulldozers. Probably could do another bulldozer in here, so I'm just gonna buy a bulldozer. Don't think we need anything particularly special. And so what these 2 construction offices are working with these 2 to get some stuff going this way. What I've done is I've added another building in here, because I've been kind of expanding the population by going around looking for leaks. Now, one area where I'm starting to develop a little bit of I wouldn't say a problem, but something I do need to manage, and that is in the prison population. You can see that the prison population is creeping up. Bearing in mind that I've got 4 prisons, so I've got 1 prison here, it says 168. If I come up to Irontown, we've got 3 more prisons here. We've got, so we've got 196 in here, and 163 in here, and we've also got 192 in here. So I've got a feeling it's not going to be long before we actually need another prison. Now, from a courthouse perspective, things are pretty good. Sorry, apologies for jumping over the map, but this is the nature. When the population gets this big, you do spend quite a lot of time jumping across the map, checking buildings, because there's what I've found is with all the different mechanics now, keeping track of what's actually going on can be a bit of a challenge. You can see the courthouse here is well under control. So at the moment, and if I show you the courthouse here in, I've gone too far. Go to Colville. I'll show you the courthouse here. This one's a little bit more overloaded, but yeah, I think he's still got things under control. So I'm quite happy at the moment with the population of 82,000 having 2 full-size courthouses here. And generally the police stations are holding up quite well. And what I'm thinking of doing is that if I come over to here, we've got our chemical factories going, but they still don't really have enough workforce. You can see here. So what I'm thinking is to put a prison in about here, so that maybe we can use prison workers to go down here and work in the chemical factories. So what I'm like thinking is we need to get it in, and I want it up fairly high because of the drainage, and we're going to come in here, connect down to there. Now from a drainage point of view, I've made a couple of changes in preparation for this, because obviously we've got to put water into here. And what I've done is I've put in a little junction, I think it's here, for the water, and I've put in a sewage outfall here. And if I remember this, so we got here. This is one of the reasons why I wanted to give you guys a bit of an update video, because things are getting fairly interesting. I think what if we do, if we put in a sewage pickup point about here, and then I don't think I'm going to extend much further that way, and then just come there. What I'm doing at the moment is using the helicopter crews to kind of put in on these types of jobs where they're kind of scattered across the map. So that should give me the, just put that in, I can mark it, and then I'm going to put in a water substation. Probably could put the water substation in about here as well. And what I will do is use a pipe for this. Not sure if I can get that. Okay, we've got a bit of infrastructure in the way, but it's okay. What we'll do is get the fly out to here, just like that. Oops. I think what we'll do is we'll hook that there. Of course, what we're going to need to do is bring some workers here, but I've got quite a lot of workers here, so what we can do is just run the workers bus out for the workers. I doubt very much, well, it's possible that with a few paths, actually, let's have a bit of a thought here. Come across like that. Our road crew should pick those up. Build that out to there. So in theory, anyone here who's unemployed, looks like we've got a few problems with meat and sport and food here. I think we've got plenty in here. I think part of the problem is that some of these people don't seem to get in that quick. A little bit worried about the fact that we don't have sport over here though. Got a small technical university here. I think maybe I can slip in something here. We've got an indoor pool here, but I think the sheer density of population here is a bit of a problem. And this is something you do need to keep checking constantly. And if once your economy gets to a certain size, is you just got to keep an eye on what is actually going on in your economy, because it can be quite tricky. And if we just sneak you in there, we would just sneak another one down to there. Oops. Now this one's not so important, so what I'll do is one of these guys should, or one of them should pick up the construction because it's 3,000 meters. Yep. So they picked up all this, so that they should actually in-build that. So hopefully this prison will be ready by the time I actually need it. And this building is nearly finished, needs some steel. I do really need to review my supply system. So that is some of the things that are going on. Generally, the rest of the economy is pretty stable. My overall happiness has dropped to 74. It was running at 76%. I've got a feeling that's because I've had these buildings. I think that's partly due to the fact that I've got new buildings with the residents coming online. And I've noticed that whenever you have a substantial expansion, what can happen is your happiness can drop. The loyalty is still 74%. Actually, yeah, I've just remembered something. I should check my list. I actually wrote a list of things that I wanted to talk about. What I'm considering here is actually introducing alcohol to Nuclear City just to try and get them a little bit happier. I don't particularly want to go too big, but maybe that's a little bit in the wrong place. Maybe we can just flip that. Say about there. Put one there. And then if we got anything that's a little bit more... A beach cafe. I think... Whoops. Thank you. Anything that's that's quite big. We put a kind of, what is this? Got a view cafe bar, an old restaurant bar. Oh, that looks a bit more kind of. Question is, I don't think I get it. We get it just in here on this corner. Because it's got no power, so we'd have to kind of push it up a little bit like that. But I could bring in another power substation. I think if we push that up, something like that, and put a footpath in. Like that. Now working out here, it's got to be the helicopter cruise. We'll just get the heli cruise working on that, and that. And of course, what I'm going to need to do is, I think what I will do is this distribution office isn't particularly that busy, so what we'll do, it's going to be a long way for them to come, but the only source of alcohol I've got is here. So we can pick up alcohol, and then I'm going to come all the way over to here, over into here. Just check my warehouses for alcohol. There's 6.4 ton there, but we've actually, so we got there's 74 tons of alcohol. Wow. I don't really want 74 tons of alcohol up here, game, so let's just drop you down to say 16 tons. Maybe just increase the food a little bit. Not sure why this has got food in it anyway, so we'll take the food out. I'm not exactly too sure. I've got the two. I think if we store, we've got 40 tons of alcohol in here, so if I knock the alcohol out of there, that will give me 44 tons of food. Just drop the food down to, no, actually keep that high. We got, let's drop you down to 38 tons, and we got 0.75. Just kind of open that up a little bit. 14 tons of clothes is good. 39 tons of food. No alcohol, and then we'll put the alcohol into this one with 17 tons. And what we'll do is we'll start getting some alcohol out here, keep everybody happy. Now, in the theme of alcohol, what I've been doing here is I've planned a rail network out here, and if I draw this main map up to its maximum size, if you see this area in the center here, what I've done is I've kind of completed the main rail network. I did contemplate running a line out to this island, but it's still a possible option, is probably the polite way of saying it, to this island. But we've still got 2 crosses on this island here, which I would like to connect. So what I've decided to do, because I was thinking about the sheer amount of vehicles and everything that's going on out here. So what I've done is brought in an oil terminal here, because I've got this little village here. What I'm thinking in this area is that this village has got no real purpose. So I'm going to probably do 2 things here. One, I want to put in a local power supply, possibly because we may need to run power out across to these islands. And rather than draw it all across the map, I'm thinking about maybe having some geothermal power here. But the other thing I'm also considering is making this into a tourist resort with a tourist landing. So rather than come in by train, they will actually come in by ship. The only real main concern is the fact that the border is only up here. So what we'll have to do is hopefully this will be close enough for NATO tourists to come in here. So this won't be one for the Republic's tourists. This one will be for the NATO tourists. But the first thing I want to do is put in a, hopefully, I have done a little bit of some preparation in this area. It's actually worked. I found an area here that was capable of supporting a port, but I kind of tidied it up a little bit. But I had to pay for the what we call it, the leveling, because I didn't really want to put a construction office out here. So we've now got this out here. Now the idea of this pumping station is that we're going to bring fuel up here, because now you can use a helicopter to deliver your basic supplies as long as it's not too much. But what I'm thinking is that we can have a little bit of a cargo port here, so that what we can do is deliver in the necessary items to ship to and supply these areas by ship. But maybe the one that's right out on the outside here, we might supply with helicopters. So what I want to do is get a little bit of a shipping line going here. Well, that's the idea anyway. I'm not sure if I can get got a pump on. We don't need aggregates. So what? It's way too big. So what I'm considering is putting a bit of a port there. Of course, what we'll have to do is put in a what we call it, a warehouse. Now, what we're going to need is a big oil tank. I'm going to put a large oil tank there. Oh, I've got a feeling that this won't go the full distance. So what we're going to have to do is put a pump jack in roughly where that tree is. So put a pump jack in about there. I'm going to put another one just in here, because what we're going to have to do is run, whoops, I think we'll go underground for this pipe. We got that connection there, and that means I can now bring the road out here. And this road can run to about there, and then connect to there. You can come into there. Of course, we're going to need lots and lots of power out here. What I don't really want is, because this is going to be the tourist area, so you can come into here like that. And of course, what we're going to need here is a cargo station as well. I think we can go all 6 like that. Just let it, just tilt it around like that. One of the nice advantages of playing on a reasonably flat map. So what we've now got is a little bit of a supply depot out to our outer island, so we can take all the essentials like food, clothes, electronics to here. And what I've done is I've brought this into here. Now the question is whether we're going to steal these supplies with respect to the what we call it. Just wondering if I could get a rail line out here. And we've got some track here. We could come off here, round and up to here, but I'd have to get rid of this pipe here. Put this underground, for argument's sake. You underground. We come to the track. And what we'll do is we'll run a train like that. One of the nice things about when you get to this point in the game, you can start to think in slightly grand scale. I think because this junction's a little bit close, what we can do is kind of come off like that, make this into a single junction, and then you can run up around the back of the box. Just take that out. And run this line. And I think that's probably, actually, if I get a lot of track length here, I can, which I've said a little bit of a thought. If I take off, get rid of you, just clear all this up, and then like that. I'm pretty sure that's all a little bit messed up. Let me just tidy this back a little bit. Take you out. Put in you. You into. Teach me, won't it? Okay. Let me just. rework this junction. I think this is all very messed up now. Trim this back a little further, and then you can run through to there. You can trim back here a little bit. You can come in about there. And trim this back a little bit further. And then what we can do is take you off about here into there like that. And then what I have to do is put in we can put a crossover there, and then what we can have this is a single junction. So that will then connect up there. And what that will do is get us the fuel into here, because of course it's not just I want the fuel to be a pickup point for that's on the wrong side, but it'll be okay. Put you about there. Come there. But pipeline's gonna have a problem with the road, so let me just redo that. And come across like that, and as you're on your terminal, you can come to that point there. That one comes to there, the tank. You can connect to there. We'll go underneath neatness perspective. We gotta whoops, nope. And that will that connection there. So what we got now is the ability to put fuel up to here. We've got a train that can come in and deliver the necessary, but we also got a cargo station should we need it. Because technically I could do away with this, but I think I'll keep them separate because that will give me more control. And the other thing that suddenly occurred to me is that we're going to need one of my favorite buildings at the moment, and it's one of the reasons why I put this track in so long. Well, that's what I'm claiming anyway. We're gonna put it's not gonna right, we're not going to be able to put it out here just at the moment unless I can get it to go green. It's going to be it's a bit close. Actually, that would work quite well. Actually, we put this like that. And then we can use this as a distribution office. That's not going to work. Sorry. Okay. It won't be able to get into there. So what we're going to have to do is put it about here. I'm getting quite good at sticking distribution offices in the absolute middle of, actually, that'd be quite a nice place to put it, actually. Just out here like that. We could get it alongside this track here. Okay, flash green there. There it is. We got a little bit of green there. And you can... Oh, it's not gonna... Okay. We can do this side. So we just up in here. You can hook there. And then this one, I'm going to have to get a construction office out. Yeah, because it's not going to... Yep. So that one's going to have to come later. Anyway, so. And of course, we're going to have a road out of here, but we can do it with gravel. Yeah. And just squish it bypass like that. And what this distribution office will do when it's actually finished, because we can run the track over this road, because this is just a service road. This will be responsible for bringing the food out to here, because it can... Okay, so what we have to do is... It's the way this game evolves. I've just realised I made a bit of a mistake when I was laying the track out here. I've actually put the track in as electric. But I think I can live with that, guys. You can come there. So what that will mean is that this can be, once this distribution office is built, review. Apologies if you can hear somebody talking in the background. We just had a delivery. So we've now got that sorted there. And I've also finished this farm off. And I'm thinking the possibility of these outer islands possibly trying to make them self-sufficient, but they're not really that big. So we'll see how that goes. Anyway, so we've now got this built here. And I think just to finish the video off, I'll just go around and give a little check to see how things are going. My helicopter crews are pretty quick here. So, and see if we've got any alcohol up here. Yep. I actually set up a... Where are you? Whoops. Unload alcohol. Haha. Then messed that up, didn't I? If the... Yeah, looks like we've got... I mean, it's not the end of the world yet. We've got our little train going off in that direction. So... my road construction crews are just plodding through this area here at the moment. We've got some track laid into here now. So it looks very much like my rail construction offices might be a little bit finished. What have you got? Why have you got a little bit of track here that says electrified? Mainly because I don't think this is actually fully electrified at the moment. We'll have to check that. But first I just want to go around and do over here. I mean, my steel industry is absolutely cracking. You can see here, you can see we've got only 1,890 million, and this steel industry has worked incredibly well. In fact, this whole area, I'm really happy with this, because you can see we've got the coal production coming in here, where we got almost a constant supply of mechanical components flowing out here. We got, I say, lots of steel. And if I show you the economy, our imports, I've still got a little bit of imports left over from the tourist town, and of course you can see we're importing oil, although this is the, if I go back to last month, you can see we imported 816 tons of oil, electronics, meat and power. And if I show you the, whoops, didn't mean to do that, show you the exports. See, you can see we exported 50 million, and 23 million of that was steel. So it shows that I'm pushing out as much steel as exporting quite a lot of steel. A little bit of alcohol. We're exporting fuel. I may need to look at that, because I shouldn't be really export. Oh yeah, I think I am, because I think I had a surplus. There's so many things to check. Yeah, we've kind of got a little bit of a surplus of fuel, which is probably why I'm not importing so much oil now. I want to have a quick check up through here, see what I've got in the, yeah, see, we're still kind of trudging along with next to nothing. And I think that can have an impact, although we're still keeping this full, so that's good. So this is working quite well. We've got this, so we've now built the footpaths in here. Just make sure that we got, yeah, got plenty of walking distance. So when our prison is built, we'll be able to get things done. Just want to check this. Yeah. We've got a distribution office here that we can bring the necessary out to in the way of food and clothes. In fact, I just want to go very quickly over here. Okay, we need some more covered holes. I seem to be forever manufacturing covered holes. We need to make some covered holes for that. The other thing I've also been doing is putting in some extra, what we call it. Oh, top tip, guys. If you move a construction office, and because you've got this new tool now, I'll just come here, just put that out of the way for the moment. Say for example, I wanted to move this construction office. Although it's got an example, right? You've got this option up here. It says change workplace depot for all vehicles. Now what you want to remember, and this is quite important because I actually made this bit of a mistake, is because this construction office has got 2 tower cranes in it, for that command not to complain, what you've got to do is load the tower cranes onto the open holes before you do it. Also, if you've got things like pavers, asphalt pavers and bulldozers, things that you would normally ship to a construction site on the back of an open hole, load all the open holes up first. Because what will happen is that especially if you want to move it a long distance like I did, I clicked it on the road haulage, and before I noticed, the pavers and the bulldozers were leaving the site. I managed to catch some of them, but a couple of them had to come the long way. But the important thing is, if you've got tower cranes, make sure you put them in the open hole. Otherwise the game will tell you that you've got vehicles that cannot move. So anything that has to go on the back of an open hole, put it on there before you move a complete construction office. Game should be running fast. What I want to do is just get this filled up, because one of my technical offices should be just fill you up. completely. Actually, I think I will speed the game up a bit. This one should be full now. And of course they're going to go off like that. Right, what we got to do now is just put that there. Just let the game run because they're going to go off to get a fuel depot. No, I don't want that. Where are you? Whole map. Technical offices. 6 pages of them now. Oh, I thought it was the technical. Oh no, we got one here. Just see, because during the last winter I was checking the technical offices here. See, and so what you can do now is come here and then send all of them like that. Yeah, I noticed that there was a bit of a problem here with the snow ploughing, so I arranged to have a technical office built in there. And that's the easiest way to populate a technical office. So if you've got a vehicle construction site like this, where is it? Like this over here, build a construction office. And the other thing you can also do is you can do it for a distribution office as well. So if you want to build a profile for a distribution office, put the vehicles in there. But with distribution offices, because they can vary in size, what I suggest is you only put enough vehicles in there for the distribution office. And at a pinch, you can do it for a construction office as well. So what you could do is build, say, a large construction office here, and then work out the profile of the construction office. The construction office itself can be smaller. Just work out the profile of that construction office, and then would decide on how you actually want to do things. So that is something that's certainly worth remembering, especially if you're managing a large map and it just gets away that tedium of putting things in here. Anyway, guys, I think this is where I'm going to leave it. Hope you enjoyed the episode. Hope you found it interesting. For anyone who's looking for a new series, I am working on it, guys. It's just that at the moment I've made one recording and it was trash, so I threw it away and I'm going to start again. Hopefully sometime today I might do the introductory video or something. But until next time, whatever you do, enjoy your gaming.